Watoga was designed to be the city of the future, but the reason it failed is written all over its high school. Nestled in the southeast corner of Watoga, just off of Innovation East Drive, sits Watoga High, a place of education, a place where the wealthiest families of Appalachia sent their children to be shaped into perfect citizens. It promised something different, to break away from the limits of traditional education and let the students grow with no boundaries, while maintaining the outward appearance of control. And on the surface, the school was exactly what you'd expect from a school built for the best of the best. A massive 2-story library, cutting-edge computer labs, advanced science, math, and history classes, and a newly renovated art wing. Strict guidelines were placed around what students wore, particularly during special occasions like Halloween. Even the food offered by the cafeteria, including such dishes as filet mignon and sorbet, were highly regulated, controlled. Perfect. But the more you look, the more you realize that beneath all of that luxury, every aspect of Watoga High School set students up to fail. The coursework was rigorous, but followed a curriculum that the city of Watoga wanted them to learn. Instead of the normal topics like reading and arithmetic, students learned about the history of corporations, such as Robco and Vault-Tec. Just some wholesome role models for the youth of America. Some after-school programs were even sponsored by these corporations, like the Robotics Club, sponsored by Robco. Additional studies may also have been restricted by locked glass panes over books in the library, close enough to see, but couldn't be read without approval from the librarian. Art classes held in the new art wing were limited to 12 spots. A competition pitted students against one another, and only the most artistic students in the school could learn and grow their talents. Like the rest of Watoga, entitlement ran rampant in the school. Premium subscriptions for robot locker caddies and other improvements could be purchased, dividing students into the haves and have-nots even among the richest children in Appalachia. Many of the normal tasks that come to mind during a teen's high school years were dubbed as menial or beneath them. Things like studying, taking tests, or playing sports. Why bother doing these when a Mr. Handy can do them for you? The teachers didn't make things better. Each had a robot assistant to do much of the teaching for them. And the art teacher wasn't even human. It was a robo-brain containing the mind of a famous painter. This proved a sad truth to students. Teachers were just as replaceable as any other human. Could the staff have fixed this? Show that they were irreplaceable? Maybe, but some teachers simply didn't care. They were there for a paycheck. Realizing that students didn't want to learn, some teachers let them do as they pleased. One even reprogrammed the assistant bot to take tests for them. Now, one thing young adults need is guidance, boundaries, someone to show them right from wrong. And yet, teachers were not allowed to reprimand students. Ever. Instead, a student jury did the reprimanding. At first glance, this appears like a learning experience. Teach students how a court system works. But put yourself in the mind of a teenager in this system for a moment. Would you sentence your friend to a harsh punishment for breaking school rules? And how would this affect the way you saw teachers? They can't punish students, only their peers could. Peers that were just as rich and entitled as they were. It's easy to see why teachers were not respected. And the circle of entitlement just goes around and around and around in Watoga. And nowhere is the lack of respect for teachers clearer than during the annual Monster Mash Halloween event. Each year, teachers would don large masks that function like piñatas, full of candy and ready to be hit with sticks. The teachers collected candy around the school and filled the masks. The teacher with the most candy at the end of the event received more discretionary spending for the school year. And teachers looked for an edge to one-up their colleagues. Chems, such as Med-X, were used to keep them going throughout the event. The students, on the other hand, were armed with sticks and sent out to hit the masks. Each hit caused candy to fall. Students then had a choice: eat the candy or turn it in at the smart kiosks around the school for random prizes. Gambling, in other words. But this wasn't just tradition. It was a healthy way for students to let out aggression against authority figures in their lives, according to the headmaster. Did these kiosks help students? No, of course not. They were part of a government program to reduce sugar intake by children in America. Instead, however, it created gang-like activity in the school. Some hoarded their candy to turn in for better prizes. These hoards drew the eyes of others, and groups of thieves would steal their candy. Gambling, raiding, and violence were not the exception at Watoga High. They were normal. Unfortunately, these behaviors were not contained to just the high school. A group of students started ordering alcohol from outside of Watoga, but the deliveries stopped due to the security bots around the city. The students did not take kindly to this. They armed themselves with bats and decided to show those yokels what poor service means in Watoga High. They chose to deal with a minor delivery issue with violence. I wonder where all these raiders after the bombs came from. Pre-war America wasn't built on compassion, and nowhere is that more obvious than in Watoga and Watoga High. These students weren't being taught to serve others. They were being shaped into something else, something worse. They were being molded into the kind of people who helped bring about the end of the world. So who is really to blame for the structure of Watoga High School? Was it the students who stopped learning and became raiders? Was it the parents who raised them to think they were untouchable? Or was it the city of Watoga itself, who saw humans as replaceable? Because Watoga didn't fail by accident. It was doomed from the start, and all of the reasons why can be seen in the high school. And the students of Watoga were pretty bad, but the guy responsible for the fall of Watoga was pretty bad too.